At that moment, it was just like, I wanted Kell to win.
Yeah.
And then you hear Amir, and Amir comes out, and Amir's one was special as well. And I started thinking to myself, oh, I like Amir.
I'm the man for the job, and I quite like that feeling of going up there, and a bit like an assassin job, going in there, getting all about.
Now she is one of my favourite female fighters.
Do you know what I call her? Pocket Rocket. She is sick because
she is
what
so
she
sick.
does.
The other name floating about, and I'm not sure how likely it is Floyd Mayweather.
Mouthpiece, the home of unfiltered boxing. This episode is brought to you by Boxing Boys. Boxing Boys is a 3D animated NFT collection made up of 5,005 unique boxing characters, combining the real world of boxing with the digital revolution through a play-to-earn game. Each Boxing Boy has its own unique skill set, and upon collection becomes a playable character. Welcome back to Mouthpiece. I am Savage Dan. I'm in the blue corner. Money Mace in the red corner.
Yep.
Mace, what a weekend.
What a weekend. That was crazy. You know that Kell's ring walk was probably one of the best, greatest atmospheres I've ever been a part of.
It felt special, innit? It did. Honestly, when I heard the piano, I looked up at the screen and it seemed just incredible. It just seemed, I can't there's not enough superlatives for the word I'm trying to say, but it felt big.
It was just perfect. The way, especially, you've got that ring walk and stuff, everyone's singing along, but then the second the song stops, it goes back to a boxing crowd and everyone's booing the life out of him. Yeah. And then, you can see Keller's up for it.
Everyone was in awe of like the atmosphere.
For that one moment, everyone in the arena was just together and it was crazy.
The pianist and the whole, it felt, and then at that moment, it was just like, I wanted Kell to win.
Yeah.
And then you hear Amir, and Amir comes out, and Amir's one was special as well. And I started thinking to myself, oh, I like Amir now. I've been like that throughout the whole build-up, I've not been able to really pick a winner. Mm-hmm. In the end, I started leaning more towards Brook, but it was split like that all throughout fight week, all throughout the build-up. But it was what a dominant performance from Kell.
It was nearly punch perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing was, if you were listening to just the crowd, you'd have thought Karma's a lot more in it, because the second he landed the tiniest little punch, the place would erupt. Yeah. And then when Kell's landing the big stuff, it wasn't getting the same response. Yeah. So if you're listening to just the crowd, you
could hear it ringside. You could hear the punches. You could see the sweat coming off the head. Like, it was big. Like, you got to give credit to Amir to stay in there for as long as he did, because it looked tough in there.
Look, we know what Amir's been like throughout his whole career. His heart has never been something that's been part of the question. He's going to go out on his shield no matter what, and it would have been the same that night as well. You'd have had to literally flatten him to get him out of the fight. I think the ref did the right job. I've seen a couple of people ask him, was it an early stoppage, but I don't think it was.
I was looking at the corner in round 4 actually, and I think I saw Bomac say he was having a think about pulling him out of there, just because he was taking a lot of shots. And I remember looking to my left, I think it might have been to Derek Chisora, and I remember saying to him, he needs some success now. Amir Khan, I think it was going into the 5th, where he was beginning to take a lot of shots. If you don't get some success now and turn this around, it's only going to get deeper and deeper. Kell was looking fresh, he looked strong, he looked imposing, he looked, his timing was right from the first bell. Yeah. And I thought that would take 3 or 4 rounds, but I saw him land a jab quickly, and it was just like a nice. He had a lot of snap. Yeah, everything flowed. It was a punch perfect performance, like you said.
Amir, is always gonna, due to the nature of the speed of his hands and stuff, he's always gonna be landing punches no matter what. Yeah. But I think the problem for him was his feet. Yeah. He wasn't able to carry himself for more than 5 seconds. Really, he would move a little bit, and then he would become very flat-footed and slow again. And
Brook made him work really hard in the first couple. I think what Brook landed early, and whatever game plan you've got, if you're Amir, is probably now operating at 50%, because your game plan was to sting him early, and he's hurt you early.
Yeah, he was so now you got early in that first round.
You got to do your running. He was having to work really hard it was a 22-foot ring. Yeah. And he was still cutting it off and making it. He bullied him in there. It was like I said it, I'm not going to take the credit for it, but I said it to Bet365 before. I said we're going to get a career best performance out of someone. And I didn't know who it was, but I just had a feeling for this fight, for anyone to win, they would need to pull something out that they maybe haven't shown for years and years and years. I think that's a better win than Sean Porter, because if we're being honest, nobody would have been calling it a robbery if Sean Porter got that decision. It was a tougher fight, of course, and Sean Porter's horrible for everyone. Yeah. But there's that, which is a huge marquee win, and then there's a dominant performance. That's the most dominant I've seen him. Yeah. He kind of struggled a little bit at points against Carson Jones, against Zinchenko. Like he's even in his big wins, he's had moments where he's not in control. This is the grudge match, and he was in total control.
So you do think that is a career high for Kell? I would say
that's his career high.
Yeah,
I think that
it's that defining moment for him as well, isn't it?
I'm guessing that would be his biggest payday, biggest moment. You know, that ring walk, it felt big, and he would have felt that.
Yeah,
he would have felt that 100% because he would have been coming down the ramp. I had a peek as well backstage, like at what it looks like from the fighter's perspective, and when you're coming out to all those phones, torches that are on, it just looks crazy. Yeah. We saw the aerial view of what the broadcast looked like. It looked like it was at Wembley Stadium. It didn't look like it was the AO Arena. You know, it looked like there was 80,000 in there. It was incredible. So he would have felt that, and he would have got maybe an extra couple of % from that top performance. Yeah. What can I say? There was an issue.
After all the waiting,
after all of that,
17 and a half years,
the fight almost didn't happen.
We were forced to wait a little bit longer.
It really almost didn't happen. That went to the wire.
Yeah. The fact that, after everything that's gone down over the years, just that final bit of controversy, it was perfect. Yeah. It almost
made it better.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing everyone has heard about it now. I feel like everyone was kind of like whispering at the time because they didn't want anyone to know. But it was clear as day that Kell got in the ring with flies on, removed them, and then put on Amir's spare pair of Grants.
I was worried seeing that, because I thought the gloves aren't going to be loosened up. The leather's going to be tight. He's not going to feel super fresh as he started to cool down a little bit. I would have thought maybe Brendan Ingle would have brought some pads in or just given him something just to be able to getting comfortable a little bit, but it didn't affect Kell whatsoever from the opening bell.
I reckon he fights in Grants from now on. I reckon he must fight in Grants from now on.
Does he carry on though? That was going to be my next question. What is next for Kell? Does he stay in the sport?
Cool. Yeah, well, if you're Kell, you know what you've got left. Now, for me, that didn't look like a shadow of a man. Everyone kept talking all fight week. All I heard was who's got more in the tank. He had loads in the tank. Yeah. That was enough to have beaten loads of welterweights. Now, ringside was littered with them. Future opponents. You had David Avanesian ringside. Conor Benn ringside.
Florian Marku was there.
Florian Marku, all 147. Then we've got the small matter of Chris Eubank Jr., who said he'll fight him. It will probably have to be a catchweight or whatever it is.
Well, Kell said 155, and Chris has said, no, you fought Golovkin at 160, you can fight me at 160. It's not happening below that.
It's different. You're fighting the guy at 160 for world titles.
The problem is we saw Amir just unfortunately look like the old man in that ring. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, his hands are never going to slow down too much. Yeah. But he looked like an old man in there. The problem is, if Kell stays in the sport for too long, depending on who he fights, does he become the old man and does he get...
Well, that's what people are going to hope, that he becomes old overnight. But Kell has like 3% body fat.
He looked in ridiculous shape.
Ridiculous. So
he looked like like an Action Man figure or something. It was insane.
It looks fake. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Like usually age will make you carry a bit more body fat, but he's obviously just got the strongest genetics going. Like it's just crazy. It's just like, even when he looks like he's got nothing to lose, like I'm astounded that he's 149. Yeah. He looked huge. Yeah. He looked huge in there. Healthy. But what I'll say is, going up to 160, he's done it before. I just don't think it's good for him. There's weight divisions for a reason. Yeah. It's a good fight. Of course I'd love to see the fight. But I think for him, that's been tried and tested. He's done it already. He went up and fought a big, powerful 160 pounder, and it didn't serve him too well. If anything, it almost started what could have been the end of his career. Yeah. And now we have him with a new lease of life. Like today he'll have a spring in his step. He'll be feeling more in love with boxing than perhaps ever before. And it's a message, you know. He sent that message to everyone else at ringside. I'm not sure which one of the 147 lot that was at ringside thought they could beat that version of Kell. Yeah. But they'll think twice because they was expecting to see a slightly more shot version of Kell. A version that maybe had to go back and forth with Amir. He was in complete control. Timing was on. Looked strong as an ox. People have always said it. It's hard to stand in front of Kell Brook.
Yeah.
It's hard because he's that imposing. And when he's a box fighter, throwing big, heavy shots, but he's got good timing, good speed, good everything, it's difficult.
The other thing for me is he was patient, he was efficient, and it was just a sustained beating.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't just completely unloading and going wild, although at points we saw that a vicious old Kell, you know, those ruthless attacks, but he was still efficient with it. It wasn't just the whole time. He was patient and chose his moments. I mean, I think Amir was even saved by the bell a couple of times.
Yeah, he was.
So, you know, if there's an extra 30 seconds...
Listen, when it's all said and done, sometimes you have to zoom out. And people have been looking at Kell thinking Kell's not got much left based on 3 fights. The opponents...
As you said, they were all pound
for pound number ones. All of them.
Tops.
They are you can't get any better than them. And also with the Crawford fight, Brendan Ingalls said that he wouldn't, Dom Ingalls said he wouldn't train him for it because he didn't have enough time. So he knew he was underprepared. Dom said that he reckons Amir Khan would have probably even beat that version of Kell. That wasn't a well enough prepared Kell Brook. This version of Kell, good camp, well trained, healthy, and making weight the correct way. There's still, listen, like no one can just say they walk through Kell. Yeah, it's absolutely impossible. That doesn't happen.
I mean, he said that he said in his post-fight interview that he feels 23 again. He said he's got his mojo back. He said he's gonna take some time and think about it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. The other name floating about, and I'm not sure how likely it is Floyd Mayweather. They're talking about an exhibition fight. They're talking about, you know, going down another route.
I mean, the thing is,
I don't know if Floyd would even take that fight. I don't know.
Well, why would you if you're Floyd? Yeah, why would you if you're Floyd? That's you're fighting a live opponent. Exhibitions, in my opinion, are not for active and live boxers.
Agreed.
They are for retired boxers, YouTubers, whatever it is. But a professional boxer who's just done a pay-per-view card and beaten his nemesis, I don't think needs to go for an exhibition. Everyone wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. I want to fight him.
Yeah.
Like that, of course, everyone would love to fight Floyd Mayweather, but I think there are still a lot more big nights out there for Kell Brook, as long as, you know, he keeps himself in shape and keeps himself in love with the sport for the next 18 months. I think there's 2 or 3 big ones.
Part of me would love to see that. The other part of me thinks, Kell, you've had your defining moment in your career, sort of, in terms of your legacy. You've won your world title against Sean Porter, and then you've got your grudge match fight. The way it went, the way everything happened, it's almost like, you know, we see it time and time again where a fighter that's towards the end of their career want that one more win.
I'll be honest.
One more, and then I understand. Take the loss, and then all of a sudden you're chasing yourself.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
But in the twilight of your career, especially a career if you are not Amir Khan. Amir Khan went and made millions in every single fight. He did Vegas, he did everything. If you're Kell Brook, you know that there are plenty more millions on the table for you. Yeah. Providing you stick around and fight a couple more times. I would do it. I think the fans would love to see those fights. I think Conor Benn, I'll be honest, I don't personally want to see Kell Brook and Chris Eubank Jr.
No.
My personal preference. I don't like it because I think there's 2 weight divisions between them, and not only that, Chris has been at 168 and he's been a big boy up there. Yeah. I just don't think, even though Kell struggles to make 147, I think is where he looks best, or 154 at most. I don't think he's a 160 fighter. There's giants up there.
No. He shouldn't go to 160. I just want him to be careful. We see it at certain times where
there's no easy fights at 147. It's just about picking where. I mean, Kell's in a position now where, whether you like it or not, he's box office.
Yes. I wonder if, I'm just looking now. So, number 1 is Terrence Crawford. That fight's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Ugas is fighting Errol Spence, is that happening?
Yes.
I think that's...
No.
Who's Ugas fighting? Dennis Ugas. I'm sure there's a fight penciled in for Ugas already.
You got... Who else? You got Ortiz fighting McKinson.
Yeah. Let me have a look. I'm sure there was some news of Ugas fighting someone. Maybe it was just...
It was supposed to be Spence.
But then you look at someone like Keith Thurman, maybe, who I was going to bring up. That's maybe the fight
Spence.
for...
Set for April.
Okay, so that fight sort of takes care of itself. That's a unification fight.
Well, the thing is, you got Avanesian that will probably be made number one or mandatory for the McKinson Ortiz winner.
Yeah.
So he'll have his route. If you're Kell, you pick who you want. When it's all said and done, I think he might be the money now at 147.
He could be, especially for fighters that maybe the same way English fight or UK fighters want to get their big break in America.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. The flip side happens as well. US fighters want to come over to the UK.
Yes.
So for me, if I'm looking at that list, Keith Thurman is the fight to make there, really. Keith's towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be one of taking the opportunities he can get. Kell's knocking around at the highest ranked parts. Everyone else is sort of on their unification journeys and stuff. For Kell, I don't think it's about the top of the 147.
Well,
chain.
I think he's tried and tested up there, and he's lost twice. One of them, he didn't have a successful camp. The other, his eye socket went at 147.
Yeah.
I don't think the eye sockets will be a problem now that they've got titanium in them. I'm guessing. I'm not a scientist.
I did notice a little bit of swelling early on to the left eye.
Yeah, that's
it's
just a mouse. It's a mouse.
Yeah. Mikey Garcia. I'd go for Keith Thurman. If I'm picking someone for him, I would go Keith Thurman. It's a huge name, a big draw. It's someone that's known globally. That fight would do well in the US if Kell wants to go back over there and get his big moment in the US.
It's a shout. It's a shout.
The Porter fight was in the US, I'm assuming. Yeah, he's already had his sort of crowning moment over there, I think. So maybe it's...
See, I'm being selfish and looking at Conor Benn at some point.
You give him Conor Benn? You let that fight happen?
I think it is a
I just worry that...
I'll tell you what, I think it's experience versus youth.
Yes.
And I think it's one of those fights where Kell Brook could easily win that.
I just wonder if we saw that Amir couldn't really keep himself bouncing and super light on his feet for more than 5 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
He was a bit flat-footed at times, and even he was landing a couple of shots. I just wonder if that is biting off more than you can chew and getting caught up in your own hype.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I just maybe I'm doing it to protect Kell because of the way it's all gone. It's like you've had that perfect
I'll tell you
moment.
why I think that's interesting, because I think Conor Benn is sick. And I think he's a bit of a nutter, and he'll want all the fights. He'll want the Eubank fight.
Oh yeah.
He'll want all the fights. But I think at this moment in time, Kell has the momentum more.
See, there's momentum, but the wave that Conor is riding as well is, just sparked out Chris Algieri in a knockout of the year contender.
Chris Algieri. It's a very good name. It would be the equivalent to what Kell would do to Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
So it's a good name, but it's not the livest of live opponents, if that makes sense. I like the fight. I like Kell versus any of them.
Yeah.
I like any of them versus any of them.
Yeah.
I want to see the fights that we haven't seen anymore.
I do love that 147 division. I mean, we said it in the previous episode. That division's just always hot, isn't it? Like, it just is one of the best.
If you're Kell and you're 35 and you feel 23 and you're happy and you're in love, go after the big ones.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Aim for the top. I think if you're Amir, I was ringside just filming the winning announcement and stuff, and I was just watching them have their moment, and you see Amir go, I'm done now. I'm done. Obviously, before the fight, he was talking, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to campaign now and blah, blah, blah. I think if you're Amir, you call it a day. Yeah. He said in the post-fight interview, it was something like the love for the sport is gone now or something like that. Basically just alluding to it's done. And I don't know if you've watched the broadcast back yet, but he looked nervous on the way to the ring, and I don't know if it's all well and good seeing it after you know the result and stuff, but watching it back, you think, he doesn't look right.
I've heard a couple of people say that. I heard people say Kell looked nervous as well. Do you want to know why?
Go on.
Oh, this is their biggest fight.
Yeah.
It might be that they are 35 years old, but this is their biggest fight. They've been in loads of fights, some that they weren't expected to win, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. This is the one that everyone was split on and everyone wanted to see for all of those years. This one meant most.
Seeing them in the ring, like opposite each other, was just one of the craziest moments for me before it actually started. Like, it felt real the whole time, but when they were in the ring, I just had a bit of like oh shit moment. Like, this is actually happening.
It's here.
Like,
it's here. What a night.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we've not even discussed the rest of the card, but let's just touch on a few of them quickly.
Well, let's just say boxer has his first ever world champion.
We have it. The crowning moment for Miss GB.
Do you know what?
Did it in style as well.
I was so happy, because it would have been a travesty if she had retired without being world champion. Yes. Because I personally think she won a couple of those fights where she didn't get the decision. She has been the poster girl for women's boxing. She is one of the most talented women's boxers that there are. Just boxers, just boxing in general. Like, she is sick. Like, the way she throws shots and the way she dispatched of Chris Namus was ridiculous. Yeah,
she just had superb boxing throughout. She set up that finishing shot super nicely. She said she was just drilling it in the change rooms beforehand.
Yeah.
Even she said herself she was expecting like a 10-round war to come in and just drop her in the first. And
I spoke to Joe Gallagher after, and he said that obviously the round at the end of round 1 went, and obviously Namus stumbles back to her corner, and he said he just said to her, listen, you remember what happened with Martinez and Kid Galahad? He said, not to be disrespectful to Kid Galahad, but he just like jump straight on her, straight on her. And that's what she did. You know, he got her straight away. Because sometimes you miss your opportunity. You know, like you let someone off the hook because you think they're not as hurt as they are, and then all of a sudden you are in a 10-round war. And she just went, nah, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Bam, got her out of there again. World champion, 3 weights above the weight that she would usually campaign at.
Should she stay at that weight now?
No.
You don't think?
I wouldn't.
Chris Namus, when she lost to Emma Kozin, a lot of these girls have never finished this Christian Namus girl.
Yeah.
She's gone to points with a lot of these girls, and Tasha looked really good up there.
No, she did, but the thing is this, like, I'm not saying Tasha got lucky, but do you want to keep fighting people where you're having to punch up every single fight?
Yeah, the height difference was a little bit more than I actually would have realised going into it when I seen them. That half an inch or so, it does actually. I mean, she's got the skill. Of
course, she can. She can fight. Probably she could beat up girls that's probably at the higher weight division than that.
Yeah.
But I just think, would you stay there?
Well,
you've gone up not 1 or 2. That's 3.
Hannah Rankin was ringside for the broadcast, and she's got what belts does she have? She has the WBA and the IBO, and she said she would fight her. And when you look at her ratio, 11 wins and 2 knockouts. So if you're trying to unify it that way, and you know, if you feel good there, if you've got stoppage power, and when you're someone like that is so good.
I don't know Chris Namus's height. Let me have a look.
5'8.5".
So
and Tash and Hannah's 5'8", so that's supposedly the same height as Tasha. So,
but she fights Tasha fights quite small and then punches up.
But
I didn't realize. I didn't realize that this was there right there.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that
it's right there. It's right there. It's another. It's a domestic unification fight. It would sell massive in the UK. It would do very well on Sky.
But then you've got no choice.
Look, with Tasha being such a tidy boxer, she was jabbing to the body and coming up to the head.
Yeah.
Jab to the body, coming up to the head. She's such a good boxer that now with this added power, which, as we said before, you don't typically see in the women's game, that might just have unlocked some new power to her, where, you know, jumping up a couple weight divisions, where she does look good there as well. Maybe the cardio, we haven't seen that, so, you know, if she can't get someone out of there.
Yeah, but I think she was alluding to it in the...
She was alluding to a 10-round fight.
Yeah, she was saying that she could... Yeah, a lot of science has gone into the camp, making sure that she could carry the weight. She obviously can.
Yeah.
It's just such an achievement.
She's gone into number 1 at Super Welter on BoxRec. The points is a little bit ropey the way they do it sometimes, isn't it? But technically she's now the most experienced woman in that division. Marie-Eve Decaire, I think she beat Chris Namus.
Well then, I guess
Yeah, she beat Chris Davis on points.
I guess she's going to have to stay there. If you can get a unification.
Look, I think what this really shows is that regardless, she's got options.
Yeah.
Jumping 3, it's not like she jumped 1 and it's like, right, do I stay here or stay there? You've got like 4 divisions to be playing around with, really. So the world is Tasha's oyster. I just think now she's got that world title, she will probably try and unify it at super welter.
Yeah. And then come back down and see what's up. The thing is, in the welterweight division and even in the lightweight division, everything is, all the belts are kind of tied up.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of booked in already.
Yeah.
She probably might have to stay campaigning up here and then go back down and see what's available down there.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Who knows? But no, so you could see what it meant to her as soon as she won that fight. Same with Kell as well. It was just cool seeing ringside. You can just see the passion in their faces.
I mean, look, when you turn pro, that's your objective. And she's had a couple of bites, and when you get knocked back, it's 18 months more, to rebuild, and then COVID comes, you're out for all of that time as well. And I think we're into the most exciting twilight part of her career, where she can kind of call a few of the shots.
Yeah.
She is a big draw. She is with us. She is on Sky.
Yeah.
People want to fight her. So yeah, as you said, the world's our oyster. Fraser Clark,
great debut. Punch perfect, really. I was actually quite impressed by him.
Yeah.
I thought his choice of punches was really good.
They were really good.
He was going well to the body
and then straight through
it was nice. It was good.
It seemed like years and years of Team GB. Yeah. That's it. That's what it was. He was really selecting his punches. Obviously, it's a debut against an opponent who's...
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he didn't come to win.
Yeah.
But as in, he's an opponent who you'd expect him to beat. But still, finally, we have Fraser Clark 1-0.
He's got the ball rolling. Look, I think when you've boxed around the world on that amateur circuit, you're going to be well skilled. You're going to be well adversed. And that's exactly what it was. He looked light years above his opponent, but it's going to be an interesting one for him. That British heavyweight scene is quite a good one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good names knocking around there. So I wonder if he takes, I assume given his age, not that 30 years old, but he will take that Joe Joyce route and will try and progress pretty quickly.
Fast. I don't think we can afford to be slow with him, if I'm honest, because I mean 30 is not old, especially for a heavyweight, but you want to get out as often as possible and climb those ranks as quickly as possible, because there will be heavyweights out there that have 6 years on you.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that you're moving them at a pace that is comfortable, but a pace that's fast. You know what they say anyway, the top end of amateur boxing is better than the vast majority of professional boxing anyway. So he'll have all the experience that he needs.
I think he could easily be fighting around the top 20, top 15 mark for his second fight. You look at the likes of...
Mate, Danny Williams is still in there.
Danny Williams,
21.
Danny Whitaker, Josh Sandlin, Mark Bennett, all these guys fought on Ultimate Boxer, so we've got that connection to boxers. So if he does want to be fighting someone that's easy to fight, then make that happen. Look, David Adelaide, actually maybe not David Adelaide.
Nah, that's a bit early, I'd say.
Far too early.
But, look, everyone's climbing those ranks. You look at Johnny Fisher climbing them, David obviously climbing them, Solomon climbing them. Then you got Fabio. It's a good division to mix in. It really is. There is probably a bit of a gap between the top 5 and the rest, but
there's definitely a gap between the top 5 and the rest. But the top 15 across the board is pretty good. It's pretty good. Any of those fights by the end of the year, Fraser will be in and amongst those names, and any of those are they start getting to big fights.
100%.
But yeah, look, he's got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
We don't need to big up his opponent too much. It is what it is. It was a debut fight for him. Something just to get that sort of pro ring rust sort of off as such. Right, guys, Dan couldn't join us, so I am going to be filling in. I'm in the hot spot, and we're going to talk to Fraser now. Fraser, thank you for joining us. How are you doing? You just finished training?
Just finished, bro, yeah.
Straight back in the gym, yeah?
Yeah, back in the gym, man, because we're looking to get out again real soon, aren't we? So,
yeah.
Back to work.
Nice. How does it feel to finally have the ball rolling? Obviously, you got a knockout win at the weekend. Talk to me about Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday was unreal, It it was mad. I think more the the experience, the atmosphere, and being on such a good card. That was the bit that it was everything I could have dreamed of, for a pro debut. Obviously, I get it. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of stick about the opponent. It's nothing to do with me. Things happen in boxing, but other than that, it was one of the best nights of my career, definitely.
Yeah, look, you can only beat the people put in front of you, but I thought you did arguably a punch-perfect job, really. As you said, it couldn't have gone much better for you, and yeah, the atmosphere must have been mental for you to soak up in there.
Yeah, it was literally, it was everything I could have wanted, from a pro debut.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, it's gonna sound weird saying this, but I felt so comfortable, like I felt like that's where I belonged, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What did you make of the main event?
Explosive from round one. They both talked up a lot, and they both gave everything. I think people are saying I don't want to see none of them fighters slagged off because, like I say, I just think the better man won. Better tactically, stronger, and just a massive desire to win. Massive desire. I think Khan came out good for the first. No, I say. First round he lost. I think he won the second round. The tank seemed to empty really quick, but I think it's because the pressure Kell was putting on was making him move a lot. He was throwing a lot of shots that wasn't really having much effect. He was throwing a lot, but there wasn't much accuracy in him. Yeah, he's got fast hands. But his fast hands are no good unless they're landing on the target area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, you're back in the gym now. What is next for you? What are your plans for the rest of 2022?
I mean, yeah, this week's just a steady week in the gym. To be fair, I just want to keep busy, keep taking over. No good being at home on the sofa. The rest of the plans for the 22, yeah, I want to get back. I want to box again. I like boxing regularly. I feel like it keeps me sharp, keeps me focused, and being in the gym as well on improving. And after Saturday, who wouldn't want that experience all over again? So the quicker the better for me. And I came out healthy, hands are good. There's still little areas to improve on all the time. Like I said after the fight, physically, I still want to get in better condition, which I can definitely do. And that's something I'm going to be working on over the next 6 weeks until I box again.
Mm-hmm. We saw you do your little bit on the mic during the Sky broadcast. Was that something you enjoyed doing as well?
Yeah, I loved it. Boxing. It's going to sound really sad. Boxing is literally all I do. It's not just my sport or my job. It's my hobby. It's my passion. So talking about boxing, I like to think I know a little bit, so it's good to talk, and I like, give my opinion just like everyone else appears to. So I enjoyed that, a little bit of analysis, and it was good to give, a little bit of insight of what was going on backstage. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Good. Is there a date that the fans can be expecting to see you on? You got anything locked in yet?
Not locked in, but it's either going to be London, March 26th, or April 2nd in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
So it's a quick turnaround, but that's just what I wanted.
Brilliant. Well, Fraser, thank you for joining us. We will see you in a couple of weeks then. But no, really impressive him. Speaking of debuts, we then had Vidal Riley's UK debut.
Yeah.
He looked good, man.
He looked good. He looked good. He would have wanted the stoppage, but I think he would have learnt more from the rounds.
Yes.
Got a good knockdown in round one.
Yeah.
And he looked tidy, man. He looked good. And he looked bigger than I expected him to look at the weight.
Yeah.
Obviously, once he does a camp and that, his body obviously takes form. And yeah, because I always looked at him and I thought to myself, I wonder if with his frame, if he could get to light heavy.
So did I.
And then you see him, and there's such a big gap between cruiser and light heavy. You're just like, no chance. He's way better, and he's only going to get bigger and stronger and all of that.
Yeah, he's still only 24, so
exactly,
he's still got room to grow.
I
thought throughout the fight he was very cool. He was very creative. He was setting his own pace at times. He was counter-punching at times.
And his opponent was tough.
Yeah.
His opponent was tough, man. He came to fight.
Well, Vidal said he didn't want just like some pushover fight. He wants to start kicking on now and really sort of testing himself.
Yeah.
Although he's only 5-0, he's tried and tested on the amateur circuit.
Yeah.
Similar to Fraser. So
I like. He said something interesting, and I heard it, and I was just like, in fact, you know what? That's a proper good mindset to have. He said because he's got time on his side, doesn't mean he's got time to waste.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so he wants to use it all constructively and make sure he's progressing whenever he can.
Yeah. His opponent has 25 wins with 18 knockouts.
Yeah.
So, you know,
he
was in there with a live opponent.
Yeah.
He got the knockdown in the first. As you said, he probably would have liked to get the stoppage, but as you said, valuable rounds in the bank.
That's it.
You can't be knocking out everyone, so you know you take the experience. Yeah. What's next for him? Jake Paul?
Maybe.
He called for that. He called in one of his YouTube videos. Someone said it to me the other day, and I was thinking, no, come on, but. It does make sense. And Vidal would beat him.
Do you know what it is? I hate the stigma around certain things. So, for example, fighting Jake Paul in the boxing world somewhat discredits you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it should, because Jake Paul seems like a decent boxer now. But it discredits you in the real boxing world. You know, if let's have it right. Jake Paul versus Kell Brook is a big fight.
Yeah.
But people would say, "Oh, Kell, come on." Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't give you the credibility that you want.
Yeah.
If I'm Vidal, I stay away from something like a Jake Paul until it really presents itself to me.
Right.
And I just work on my craft and I go after world titles. I try not to look too good so that Jake will definitely fight me. But Jake's a brave boy anyway. I reckon that fight down the line makes a lot of sense.
Yep. I think, I wouldn't be surprised. Vidal said in an interview, like, if Jake is serious and we can get it on, they've had that beef before. They've had a bit of history. So, but I do agree. I think if you're Vidal, you build your own credibility first, and you focus on your rankings and getting where you need to be. Although you're young, as he said, he doesn't want to waste time. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what he does. I think he's going to be getting out fairly soon.
Yeah,
him, Fraser, a lot of these guys are just going to try and stay active.
Busy,
now.
Have to stay busy.
You've got to stay busy.
Speaking of busy. The Azim brothers both looked good.
Big talents, aren't they?
Big.
The hype behind them is really, really something,
Yeah.
Even at the open workouts on the Wednesday, the cheers when they came out,
it
was like they were from Manchester and they'd lived there all their lives.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see that sort of. I was sort of surprised by it, and then for their ring walks on Saturday night, everyone's getting behind them.
Nah, good performances. I mean, at this stage of their careers, you expect them to win as well and win comfortably. They both did. Adam seems to have a lot of pop. That knockout was a shot that didn't even land clean.
No.
It was glove.
Just broke the glove, innit?
It just broke through his glove and dropped him. And look, if you can keep that kind of power going up through the ranks and going up through the opponents, the levels, world your oyster, because people, that's what people want to see. They want to, or they want to know you have the potential of a knockout.
I think credit to him as well, because obviously when you've got an opponent that is just coming in to defend and they just cover up and go into their shell, it's always harder. You got to be a lot more creative.
It's like what Hassan had to deal with. Hassan, had to deal with as well. He literally had an opponent that was just there to survive. And when someone's trying to survive, it's so hard to get them out of there.
I think the second they start moving up the ranks a little bit and they're in more 50-50 fights, that's when you'll really see them sort of start to shine.
That's it. 100%.
Shane McGuigan obviously said he wants Adam to be working towards titles by the end of the year. So hopefully within the next few months, we'll see them start. Adam will be another one that is just going to try and race through the ranks.
Yeah.
Hassan, obviously they've said they're going to take a little bit slower, but I'm liking him as well.
I like
They're very, very different fighters. Adam is a natural counter puncher, throws punches in bunches and is just super fast. Hassan tries to sit down a little bit more and he looks for them. That's sort of a 1-2 combination and tries to land one big shot. But they've both got knockout power. Obviously, in the Fight Night London 2 show, they've both got stoppages. Adam's got another stoppage here. Hassan looked good, but obviously, as we said.
No. Listen, the future's bright for both of them, and they're both so young that they can, you keep doing this for the next 18 months, couple of years, and you watch how many more people are attending public workouts and just all over them. No one even really knows about them yet. They haven't even made a dent in the scene, and they're already, there's whispers.
Hassan's opponent had fought 330 rounds before Saturday night. Hassan had fought a third of a round before Saturday night. So, when you talk about the experience and stuff, they're only just going to grow and grow and grow. And with opponents like that, we hear about the stories in training where they're just lighting up people in sparring and stuff, because obviously that's why you're going to train. You're going to throw down. The opportunities are there. The shots open up. But yeah, in the ring,
he blitzed him, man.
Yeah,
Adam blitzed him. Hassan tried. But 333 rounds or whatever it is, you can't blitz that so easily. That's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, and then talking of blitzing, Brad Ray absolutely flattened his opponent. I was shocked by that. That was impressive.
That was the fight that made everybody on Twitter think this was a one-sided card.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't supposed to go like that. That was not supposed to go like that.
No.
McCarthy was game. He was ready.
Yeah, he was undefeated before that.
He was undefeated. And Brad Ray
yeah.
just said no.
What
a performance.
That was his time to shine, wasn't it? He was in front of the home crowd.
That's
you can see he was super up for it. All week he's been talking a good game as well.
And you know what? That couldn't have gone any better for him.
Nah, not at all.
He wouldn't have even dreamed it went like that. Not quite like that. That was perfect.
He didn't even take a punch, I'm pretty sure. And then got a very nice combination to finish. Yeah. 3 right hands.
I caught him at 3 a.m. outside the hotel when I was waiting for delivery.
Yeah.
Getting his delivery.
Some well-earned.
That's it. Yeah, you're allowed. I was tweeting him fight week, and I was just like, get your knockout, and you can get your pizza to your dressing room.
Yeah, he's a special fighter.
He is. I reckon that's a fighter that's gonna fly through the ranks, and no one's even gonna notice him for a little bit, and then he's just gonna be like, he'll just pop up as a world champion. Not that people aren't gonna notice him; they know exactly who he is, but they're the ones that I don't know. I think he's special, and I think it will take a while for people to realise that he's special.
I think his last 3 fights, he knocked out, was it Lee Cutler in the first round?
Yeah.
And then he went 10 rounds with Jez Smith.
Yeah.
And now he's got another first round knockout. So each fight has been like a statement in its own right.
Yeah.
The first round knockouts are obviously, do great numbers, and then the 10 round wars shows he's got the credibility and the stamina and can just go for 10 rounds. So yeah, I think he's going to be. There's already so much hype around him. Every time he fights on Twitter, they always go crazy for him. Whether it's English titles or straight to British, I'm not sure. He's obviously got Ricky Hatton in his camp, who's going to try to guide him along at the right pace.
I think they want to take him at the right pace, which is a bit slower.
Yeah,
but I think it's good though. He's got time. He's got time as well.
He's got a lot of time. He's only 23, so he's super young for the division. I think the only other person that was close to him is Linus Udofia, maybe.
Yep. But even that, I think that's a fight that can happen. But I think it's time to wait and take your time. You can let these fights.
Well, Linus is 28, so Brad. Oh no, Brad turned 24 on. It was his birthday on the Wednesday, yes, wasn't it, for the open workout?
Look, there's some good fighters in there, and you've got Denzel Bentley fighting
Linus. That's for the British, yeah.
Yeah, that is for the British.
So Brad's actually ranked above Linus.
He is. But I have a feeling they won't send him in straight for the winner of that. I think they just take the time. You can afford to take the time, and let him develop different attributes and different things, and you don't have to rush him into fights. Not when you're 23. You don't need to rush at all.
Do you know who has the English title? I'm just trying to look now, because that would be an interesting one for him to go for. Let's have a look here. Middleweight is vacant, so that opens up.
Oh, it is.
So yeah. And actually, just talking of English titles, unless you want to sit with Brad for a second.
No, let's go straight to Jermaine Brown. That was another 50-50 that didn't turn out to be a 50-50.
Yeah, we crowned Tasha as a world champion, and we've now crowned Jermaine Brown as the English title, English champion rather. He was just too good for Charlie Schofield.
Do you know what? He was on it. He was more on it.
Yeah,
that's what it was. He came out with an attitude that said, "I don't care about your height and reach advantage." And he started chopping him down. He went to the body quite early, first round, and he was just a split second faster to the punches than Schofield. Schofield was more hesitant. I spoke to him after.
Okay.
And I was just like, you were in the fight, but it's like just as soon as you decided you're gonna pull the trigger, Jermaine's pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Jermaine pulls the trigger, and then you now have to reset. Jermaine was really good at that. I feel like he's got like a certain instinct to him where he just knows when to go. He makes good decisions.
Yeah.
He seems strong, boxer. I remember George Groves was saying that, like he tips him to go far. He's good, to overcome those physical advantages and the height and reach.
Yeah.
It takes bravery. It takes you having to be first, having to go to the body. But I gave Jermaine every single round, and they weren't blowout rounds. They were all relatively close. It was, but he won all of them.
Yeah, it was competitive is maybe too harsh of a word, maybe not, but it was, you know, there was still a bit of a swing, and I thought Jermaine just held his own really well in there, especially being against a bigger opponent.
Yeah,
he could have quite easily let him, you know, impose himself on him, but yeah, Jermaine held his own. He held his ground. Very smart technical boxer, as you said, and yeah, we've got another belt in the boxer stable now.
Another one. And another one.
But, you know, across the whole week, it was it was a lot of fun. Yeah. A lot of fun. Manchester was very good.
It was good to us.
But the atmosphere in the arena on Saturday night was like something I've never experienced.
It's honestly, you'll do well to get a bigger atmosphere than that. It felt big. It felt. AJ Usyk actually felt like that just before the fight. But that moment before the fight, during the ring walks, it feels huge. We'll do well. We'll do well to find more of those, but it was big.
Yeah. Well,
we've got another big one.
Speaking of big atmospheres,
it doesn't get much bigger than what Scotland can offer.
Going to Scotland, Josh Taylor's homecoming.
About time.
The undisputed super lightweight championship of the world versus Jack Catterall. It's going to be a sick fight. I've been in camp with both of those guys now. Both of them are so up for it.
Yeah.
You know, this is Josh. Josh is coming with a point to prove. He's just seeming to not get the recognition and the respect that he actually deserves.
I think that's where we come in. I honestly do think that, you know, he's done huge things. He's reached the pinnacle. He's got everything. He's got the Ring magazine.
Yeah.
And he's done it quietly without, you know, the support of all the broadcasters and you know, probably without the profile that he should have for someone of his skill, experience, and his wins.
Yeah.
His catalogue speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But this will be his first fight on Sky with us, and hopefully it's a big homecoming. It's gonna be a tough fight because Jack Catterall is not gonna. He's gonna come in there thinking it doesn't matter what he's done. I'm more experienced.
Yeah.
And I'm the better fighter. I think he's got a slight size advantage on him as well, maybe.
Yeah. Another undefeated southpaw.
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming with a point to prove as well. This is his big moment, sort of steal the show, really. He's been working hard. He's been in title contention for the last 3.5 years. So
he's been waiting for Josh.
Time to shine.
He stepped aside. He's allowed Josh to go and win all these belts so that he can hopefully nick them all off him. It's a tough ask. And I'm pretty sure the bookies, Bet365, will have Josh as the favourite, but they're not always right, you know. And there's tools that Catterall has that can become a problem for Josh Taylor. The only problem is we're yet to see Josh struggle in any department.
I mean, the only other fight I can think of is the Regis Prograis fight, where, you know, that was against another southpaw.
Yeah.
And Josh let the emotions get the better of him that night.
Do you think, I'm not sure if it was emotion, I think that was, for me, after the O'Hara Davies fight, probably my most impressive performance that I saw from him because of what he had in front of him. O'Hara Davies was a big puncher, but it was quite crude and long levers, but it wasn't particularly fast or particularly skillful. Whereas Prograis was almost another version of Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
They are almost like, they fight quite similarly. Very slick, very sharp, go to the body well, go to the head, both got power, all of that. So it was like fighting a mirror.
I'm sure he was ranked number 2 at the time as well.
Yeah, that was the top 2. That fight, I was ringside for that. That fight was incredible.
Right.
And it was a fascinating fight because they were both trying really hard to put a dent in each other, but they both have so much skill and so much will that they almost both found it impossible. And after a while, Josh started to kick on, and I think in those mid to late rounds, that's where he banked a few. I gave the first couple to Prograis, I think.
Okay.
But it was back and forth. It was like fighting with yourself, but he came out on top. But he had to go to the well to do it, and I think that was like the performance where I thought, oof, like, you know, we forget all the skill and the shots that he can land. He's got character, he's got bravery, he's got like all the other things that you need to be able to come through that, because loads of fighters, loads of them at 140 would not have beaten Prograis on that night.
No. I think with obviously they're two guys that have always been in the limelight at the top of that division. For me, Jack Catterall is sort of someone that's somewhat gone under the radar a little bit, but he's actually very, very well accomplished. He's done he's done the Central Area title.
Yep.
He's done the British, the European, the Intercontinental.
He's gone the correct route, basically.
He's done it the proper way. And then he was WBO World Mandatory for 3 years. So he's always been up and around there, but never really got his shot. Or we know obviously he had the chance to fight with Ramirez.
I tell you why that worries me a little bit, and I don't like it when the organizations keep people as mandatories for 3 years. I don't know how it gets that long.
Yeah.
Obviously, he agreed with the step aside also, and COVID probably wouldn't have helped it.
Yeah.
But 3 years is a big chunk of a fighter's career, and it can, for a lot of fighters potentially be their prime.
Yeah.
When you're mandatory and you're waiting for 36 months or 24 months or however long it may be, you're waiting for your opportunity, and sometimes you fall out of love with the sport in that time because you've been doing so much waiting for that one thing. It's right there and you're not getting it yet. So it's gonna be an interesting fight. We know Jack has character. We know he's brave, he's tough. I want to see if he can deal with perhaps the sharpness of Josh. Josh is slippery.
Yeah.
Very slippery. Jack will try and land a big left hand. I like his style though, I think he's got a big aggressive style. I just wonder if he can be, aggressive with Josh, or whether you play into Josh's hands if you do that.
Did you make anything of the press conference when Josh offered Jack the chance to hold the belts and Jack turned it down? And were you at those press conferences?
Yes, I was.
I wasn't able to get to them.
I wasn't at the one in Scotland. I was at the one in London.
Yeah.
I remember when who offered AJ
and Andy
Ruiz the belt.
Yeah.
Now, that is, I know people make things out of things after a result happens, but that's not where you lose a fight.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. A lot of people went around and started saying, AJ probably lost the fight there.
Yeah.
When he gave Ruiz the fight. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Now, we need to stop this. It's romance.
Yeah.
But I like that Jack
turned it down. So do I.
Because it means now you're not doing whatever you think you're doing. That's not what we're here to do. So I like the way that Jack genuinely believes. I've allowed him to go and get those belts so that I can take them from him. That's the way he's thinking. He's like, I think that Josh Taylor is good. He obviously respects him. You have to train super hard for him. He's achieved absolutely everything there is to achieve at 140. But Jack will think he can beat him because all fighters just think they can beat everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting. He's 26-0. He don't know how to lose. He hasn't really shown a weakness yet. He'll be thinking that he should be the favorite.
2 undefeated fighters, 2 southpaws, 2 coming with a point to prove, but at different stages of their career. Like, there's a lot of nice little storylines within that.
Yeah.
It's obviously a big domestic undisputed fight. The first domestic undisputed fight, I believe, or at least in the 4-belt era, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive night in front of the Scottish crowd as well when we talk about atmospheres and we talk about, being in an arena that is just bringing the most insane energy. Scotland's going to be the exact same.
That atmosphere is roaring.
Yeah. My mum's Scottish. I'm half Scottish. Whenever I go there, the atmosphere for certain events and stuff is just it's just insane. So, yeah, when we're in there, it's going to be similar to Wales when it was a 99.9% crowd for Catterall as it was for Williams. So for Josh Taylor as it was for Williams. So yeah, we're gonna hear an insane amount of boos and an insane amount of cheers when it all comes together. Jack Catterall's got a good following though. He's gonna have. He's only Manchester, so it's not too far.
It's only up the road.
He's gonna have some support there. Obviously, we know it's sold out as well. Sold out within like 10 minutes or something.
Exactly. So it's a big fight.
Fight week is gonna be crazy.
There's not a bigger reward.
No.
Like when the first bell goes, the belts go up in the air, and that's every belt. Mm-hmm. If you're Jack Catterall, you have a shot at becoming immortal.
Yeah, you've got 36 minutes to change your life.
Crazy.
To change your life. Yeah. Do you have a prediction for that fight? If I'm honest.
I mean, look, it's hard to bet against Josh Taylor right now. He's shown no chinks in his armor.
Yeah.
So if I was forced to, I would go there. like the vast majority of people, like the bookmakers, like everyone probably will, because you're a favourite for a reason. Obviously, he's achieved everything, but Jack will be there almost like this, thinking I've allowed him to go and achieve everything.
Yeah,
you know, and then this was part of my plan, you know, for him to go and win everything so that I could take it off him. Jack, a big week, a career-defining week. You know, this is what you've been waiting for a long time. How's camp been?
Camp's been good. We're at that stage now. Everything's come to an end. Last little bits, sharpening up in the gym. Just got back home now from the gym. Feeling in a good place mentally, physically. We've had plenty of notice for this fight, so stay professional, done everything asked us and more, and just buzzing now just to get up to Scotland and get stuck in.
I mean, you'll be fighting in a very, very hostile environment, I guess. How do you prepare for something like that mentally, knowing that you're essentially, you know, going into the Lions' Den and fighting one of their own, you know, in Scotland?
Yeah, I don't think there's an awful lot you can do to prepare for it. I guess it all depends on the person that it's presented to, but I like to believe that I've got a strong mindset. I've said it before. I feel like I've been the away fighter a few times, not on this magnitude, but certainly been up against it. But no, I'm going to take it in my stride. I've got confidence in knowing that I've got thousands of people coming up to Scotland to support us. I'm not going to be shy of support up there, but it's going to be hostile. You expect it. He's not fought in Scotland since 2019, so they're going to turn out. But ultimately, there's only me and Josh in the ring.
Is there a part of you that's frustrated that perhaps you're not getting the recognition you deserve? You're 26-0. You're more experienced. Fair enough, you know, Josh may have, you know, all the belts in the division. But do you feel like people are overlooking you a little bit because you are the more experienced? You've got, you know, as many knockouts as almost that he has as fights.
You know what? I don't read into it too much. I spend my days being productive. Yes and no. There's I think, like I said, the limelight's on Josh. He's signed with Top Rank. It's his homecoming fight. Yeah. I'm the man for the job, and I quite like that feeling of going up there and a bit like an assassin job, going in there, getting all the belts and getting out of there. But no, again, I don't pay too much attention to it. I know what my job is, and I'm fully focused on that.
Jack, it's been a pleasure. Look, we'll see you all week, man. I'm up there on Wednesday. I think, Mason, you're down there on Tuesday. We'll see you at the public workouts, the press conferences, the weigh-ins, all of that. How's the weight?
Weight's good. Everything's good. Like I said, we've had plenty of notice for this fight. We were scheduled for December the 18th. Yeah. We stayed professional throughout Christmas and New Year, which has paid dividends to this week, really. I'm not running around in a sweatsuit, so everything seems all right.
Wicked. I'll see you in fight week. Thanks for joining us.
God bless. Thank you, guys. See you this week. See you later.
Sticking with title fights, there's one other title fight on the card, and it's a bit of an interesting one. It's the Scottish heavyweight title that's not been on the line since 1951.
Mate, where's it been?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you've just never had two competitive Scottish heavyweights, but I don't know how a belt stays like that for that long.
I don't know how the belt still exists if it hasn't been fought for.
I know.
For like 60 years. At least we get another shot at it now. Jay McFarlane.
Yeah. Nick Campbell coming off a knockout.
Listen, when it's all said and done, it's heavyweights.
Everyone loves a heavyweight fight.
They're violent.
Who you are, that just draws the eyes, doesn't it? So,
do you have a prediction for that?
You know, that's a hard one. It's a hard one because Jay McFarlane fought on our Ultimate Boxer 6 tournament. He went out in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
But he looked good and he's in good shape for this camp. He's been taking time off work to be dedicating himself properly.
Yeah.
He looks really sharp. Nick Campbell, you know, we know he's got the knockout power. That is a close one. I
would probably lean towards Nick Campbell, but based off nothing.
See, I was maybe leaning towards Jay McFarlane.
There you go. See?
Because Jay McFarlane can be so wild and so fast with his shots, and he will go to the body and then bring it straight up to the head.
Yeah.
He's quite a creative fighter. whereas Nick Campbell is maybe too
predictable.
Yeah, predictable when playing with his shots, whereas Jay McFarlane is wild. So
it's a good fight. It's a good fight.
Yeah.
It should be good for TV. It should be.
Yeah.
And it's always good when you've got a Scottish title on the line.
Look, when you have someone that is covered in face tattoos, I'm pretty sure right now is rocking a bald pink skinhead.
Is he?
Or green, or let me pull up his Instagram, Jay McFarlane. He is a bit of a nutter in his own right. So he's someone that's going to be bringing the energy into the ring. Let me show you. So he's actually growing it out, but look, he looks like a nutter.
Well, he looks like the guy that's married to Harley Quinn.
Yes, yeah. And do you know how old he is?
No.
23.
Right, I like it.
He's nice.
Yeah.
He's lived a crazy life. He grew up in a Caribbean orphanage from the age of like a couple of years old.
In the Caribbean?
Uh-huh. For a couple of years, and then went back to Scotland.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. He's boxed at MSG. This guy's story, yeah, we're gonna do a piece on social around it, but yeah, he's boxed at MSG. He grew up in a Caribbean orphanage. He's just a crazy character. His life is. We're gonna do a sit down interview with him during fight week.
Nick Campbell's got a lot on his hands.
Yeah,
a lot on his hands there.
This is like Jay McFarlane's sort of stepping out moment. We thought that Ultimate Boxer would have been his time to shine.
The thing is, it's difficult because you don't know how to fight those fights.
Yeah.
Or you can think and then it just goes tits up because it's just hell for leather 3 rounds boxer series. I always say it. Anyone who fights in 3-round tournament boxing tournaments is a brave man. Which brings us on to Corey Gibbs.
Corey Gibbs fighting on the card. He won the super lightweight tournament in style. He was a fan favorite going into it.
I think for someone like him who was, I think, the only unbeaten fighter in the tournament, you're showing a lot of balls going in there because it's so easy to lose that O because you've only got 3 rounds to impress.
Yep.
Everyone's got a different style. You kind of just have to prepare yourself because you can't prepare for an opponent. First of all, you don't know who you're going to get until the day before. Second of all, you don't know what side of the draw anyone's going to be on and who's going to win in their bouts. You just got to prepare yourself for anything.
Yeah.
So winning those tournaments means you're the real thing and you can adjust to everything. He won it in style.
Yeah.
It was a close fight in the end.
Yeah.
Tom Farrell, I think it was.
Yeah, he fought short. That opening fight or the semi-final, quarterfinal, for their round, you had the fan favourite versus the tournament favourite.
Yes.
Corey Gibbs versus Masha Dodd. So
yes,
that was a bit of a win-win, lose-lose sort of one. That it was sort of bittersweet, whichever way it went. Boxed very well with that, and then fought Lee Appleyard. Boxed throughout the night.
Yeah.
One thing that stood out to me was his boxing credentials really stood out.
Yeah.
I thought he was just a slick boxer. Yeah. He's tried and tested on the amateur circuit as well. National champion.
A very, very good amateur.
Already 16-0, so he's actually been slipping under the radar a little bit.
No, it's not that. It's because he got 3 of those wins in one night.
Yes, true.
But it was he was good, man. I like him. I think he's got a big future ahead.
Yeah.
So hopefully he impresses in Scotland as well.
How's that super? So same division as Josh Taylor. Ranked number 17th. So look, he's going to be pushing on this year. He's someone that knows his way around the boxing ring. So, and he's shown the heart and determination to be getting into a boxer series tournament. We know how tricky they can be, as just mentioned. So, yeah, he's going to be in full confidence now. He's had his step up and stuff, and now he's on Sky Sports. He's going to be making the most of that. I'm excited to see him back in the ring. It's going to be an interesting one. He's someone that we're going to try and move fairly fast as well.
Very interesting.
Moving down the card, we then have Ebony Jones.
Yes.
Now, she is one of my favourite female fighters.
Do you know what I call her? Pocket Rocket. She is sick because what she does is like, she almost like lures you into a false sense of security in the ring and out the ring.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, bam! And then like she explodes out of a position and just throws shots. I mean, she gave away loads of height and reach in her last fight, but it didn't seem to bother her one bit. She was almost She's bobbing and weaving like Tyson.
Well, that Tyson is her favourite fighter.
There you go.
So, you know, that's her idol. You can see that in the ring. She's proper ducking and weaving.
Yeah, and then punching up. And yeah, she's a nightmare to fight because you're just throwing down and she's just under you, you know? She's under and then she's clipping you all over the place. Yeah. Very good fighter.
She's another person with quite an interesting backstory. She was obviously in the Royal Engineers.
Yes.
She was about to go and take her tank like driving course and stuff. So she was meant to be driving tanks in the army. Whilst, you know, she was dubbed to go to Tokyo 2020.
Yeah.
Didn't because she had mental health problems and she was struggling with weight and, you know, she had stuff going on behind the scenes. But she is, obviously we had Caroline Dubois turn pro and there's all this hype around her.
Yeah.
Ebony's sort of flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Ebony is just as good.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, are they in and around the same weights? They might even end up meeting at some point. I'm sure they've probably interacted with each other on the amateur circuit. But yeah, don't sleep on Ebony Jones. She's a real talent.
Yeah, she is.
We did a filming day with her and seeing her hit the pads is just like not something you particularly see in the women's game.
Yeah.
Even when
you can hear the meat on them, innit? Yeah. It's just like proper thuds.
Yeah. For such a small girl, she packs a massive punch.
Yeah, she does.
So yeah, I'm super excited to see her. She's just gonna another person. This is one of the things I love about what we're doing on Sky Sports is like we're bringing through sick amateurs.
Yeah.
People that are tried and tested on the circuit, and now we're giving them the platform to really excel in the pro game. So Ebony's another girl that she's done the rounds in the international circuit on the amateurs, and
now it's time for her to do it as a pro. You know, that's the thing. And the thing is, the good thing, or I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but women's boxing, there isn't obviously as much depth in the divisions as there are in men's boxing because it's a sport that hasn't been around for as long. She could fly through those ranks.
Yeah.
In the click of a finger, she can fly through them.
We look at the pace that some women have got to world title opportunities, and you know, there's no reason that Ebony and Caroline can't be right up amongst them by the end of the year, really. But yeah, I'm excited to see where she goes with her career. Yeah, obviously 1-0, soon to be 2-0. I imagine she's just, as we said, going to be flying through the ranks. Yeah. She's another person. She's an English champ, British champ, European champion. She boxed on Team GB. Box for the army, I should say.
Yeah, she's got all the
credentials, all the making to be a future star. So yeah, stay tuned for her. That is Glasgow. When are you going up there?
Wednesday.
I'm going Tuesday. I'm going to get there nice and early for the open workouts on Wednesday. We then got press conference Thursday.
It's a long way, innit? It's a long way to Glasgow.
I think I'm going to fly. It'll just make my life easier, a little bit quicker. But then again, I can work on the train.
Let's do this properly. It will take an hour probably to get to the airport.
Yep.
Then you got to be there an hour early, so just an hour to get through the airport. Yeah. You probably have to be a bit more than that now.
Probably, hour and a half, minutes. 2 hours, yeah. I think domestic flights is like an hour or 90 minutes in it, but you don't want to be stressing at an airport. There's actually nothing worse.
Then you get, all I do is stress at airports. I get to airports with 5 minutes to go. That's how I do airports. Yeah. Then you're an hour on a flight.
Yeah. Where you're out of bounds, essentially. You can't be on your phone. You can't be doing nothing.
And then, not that trains are much better. And then you've got... I'm going to give Glasgow the benefit of the doubt and say it's not an hour to get out of the airport. On the other side.
Surely not. I reckon half an hour.
I'm saying that's 4 hours.
Yeah.
The train is 5.
Yeah.
I think I might go train.
You might go... I might do the same because the airport isn't going to be super central versus the station that's going to be like bang centre of town. Yeah, maybe train. Yeah, maybe train.
I haven't worked out where Glasgow Airport is.
I've not even looked at flights either, to be honest. So I don't even know. But
big week. Yeah. Anyway, what's happening in the boxing news? That by the time this comes out, this will be resolved or unresolved or off. But Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte is still not signed by Dillian Whyte. Now, if you're asking me right now, the deadline is today for him to sign. I'm not sure what the time is by whether it's midnight or whether it's 6 p.m. But if you're asking me, I think this is part of the storyline.
For me, he signs it. I think the same way that we saw little bits of mind games from Team Khan throughout this week. I think it's like we didn't bring up the fact he didn't do any pads at the open workout, rocked up late to certain things, the whole glove gate, all these little things. Boxing is so much between these fighters, a mental game outside of the ring, and there's certain things leading up to it. Dillian Whyte is obviously asking to get paid to show up to the presser. He's leaving it literally down to the final minutes.
Yeah, it might be.
He's just trying to bargain for more money. I think he's got to be careful though, because we see AJ. That's the exact reason he didn't get the step aside, also, is because he just asked for too much, and it's like at a certain point, it's like you're taking like.
I think you got to realize who you're working with as well in terms of Tyson Fury has enough about him to say, do you know what, I can't be arsed with this fight either now, and just go and fight someone completely separate. If that isn't signed, I guarantee you, the fight doesn't happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
It might sound simple, but I guarantee if Dillian Whyte doesn't get this signed today, this fight you never see.
He's got to be careful. He's got to be careful.
I don't know if you want. Well, look, you've got the opportunity here to win the WBC in a huge fight, which will probably be your biggest payday. I'm pretty sure it definitely will.
Yeah.
On a huge bill that will have huge attention, pay-per-view stuff.
Yeah.
Sign
just
it, man. I want to see the fight.
Sign
this, man.
You're getting $8 million as it is. Like, just take the fight. Price himself out of the AJ fight a couple of years back.
I think it's $6 million. It's $8 million, I think.
Right. And then there's that 10% floating around, isn't there, for the winner? Who do you think wins that fight when it does happen?
I think, like with Josh Taylor, it's very hard to bet against Tyson Fury.
For me, Fury's too good. For me, Fury remains undefeated in that heavyweight division. I don't think even Usyk beats him. Fury is just a bigger, stronger version.
The thing is, Fury gets put down. So there is a chance. He gives you a chance.
But
I will say that. He gives you a chance, but then he snatches it from you. It's
almost like, as we said with Amir Khan, you've got to nail him to the canvas for him to not get up.
Yeah.
Wilder tried it, and Wilder is the biggest puncher in recent heavyweight boxing history.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. He put him down a total of what? He put him down twice in the first fight.
Yeah.
Second fight obviously didn't, barely even laid a glove on him. And then the third fight knocked him down 3 times, I think it was.
I think he got him twice.
Was it twice? Yeah, twice, yeah. And then Fury got the third from that, yeah. So 4 times he landed and couldn't knock him down. Couldn't knock him out and keep him down.
You have to go.
But Usyk brings a different type of
boxing.
Yeah, with Wilder, it's that one shot.
Usyk. With Dillian, it's a mixture.
I don't think Dillian.
I think he will try and employ a bully tactic.
Yeah, like Chisora.
Yeah. Never know.
There's chances.
You'll have a moment.
That's why heavyweight boxing is so exciting. Is because literally anything can happen at any second.
Here's what it is.
You see the way that Fury was not dominating, but was in control against Wilder, and then out of nowhere he can just land a punch, and it just changes things. You see the way with AJ versus Andy Ruiz in the first fight. AJ gets the knockdown, thinks, I'm going to go in and just blitz him now.
Boom.
Goes in, gets caught behind the ear, changes heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, it changes the whole
Changes everything.
Yeah.
Changes everything. So, I think that is why everyone just loves to see 2 huge guys just go at it.
Yeah.
But let's hope we see that one.
Right, I feel like that's it. Anything else?
Not really. Roll on Scotland.
Open workouts.
Scotland. We have public events. We have open workouts on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Private press conference on the Thursday. Open weigh-ins on the Friday.
And then the fight on the Saturday.
Are we? I don't know if we're doing the final face-off. I hope we are.
We'll let you know. We'll let you know if we're doing it.
Well, stay locked to the Boxer socials, because obviously we'll be releasing everything on there. But it's going to be another big week. So
I guess that is it. This podcast has been brought to you, as usual, by Boxing Boys NFT. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff that you should be doing, and stay locked in, because we're going to be dropping exclusive news on this podcast every week. Mouthpiece, the home of unfiltered boxing. This episode is